Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon and I write games for fun. So what are we working on today? We're going to be working on Project Inchling. We started the kind of the basic design stuff the last stream. I didn't stream last night because I decided to take a nap at about 7 and I woke up about 11 because I'm an asshole. You may be wondering, but why did you do that? Because I'm an asshole. So here we are today, a little bit later than I usually stream, so it's about 7:30 around my time, but I just got home, watched a movie, had some fun, moved things. So we are going to be working on the unfun parts of Project Inchling. As you see right here, I got the preface done, kind of my basic rundown of how things are. Hello to Gulliver's Travels. I also got how the dice works. Last night when I kind of managed to come to, I went through and just rolled dice incessantly for about an hour, just counting up the results just to see what everything would look like. And overall, the results were about as what I was about what I was thinking they would be. Not perfect, not great, but I think it works. I had a friend look over all the parts of this just to make sure it sounded right, because this system's kind of odd. As you kind of see from the picture here, the idea is you take the highest sum of dice at whatever equals. So going off the top left hand corner, if you roll 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, you take 2 3s, add them together, you get a 6. However, in some situations, such as the bottom left-hand corner one, is you get 2 2s, which equal 4, but you also have a roll of 5. So you would take the 2s over the 1s, but you don't take the 5s. It's the highest amount of dice and the highest value. Give me 1 second, because I'm getting angry text messages from Twitch telling me that I should totally manage my stream from my phone, but I don't want to, because I'm lazy and I don't know how to do that properly. So, and we can also see kind of in the top right-hand corner, the 1, 1, 4, 5, 6. Technically, every single dice is more valuable than the 1, 1, but since it has the most, you select those two. And then when you have 3 versus 2, you always take the one with 3. Simple to kind of get, roughly speaking. But simple in my head can be sometimes very, very complex for some other people, because I am a weird designer who looks at dice numbers for too long. So if we go down here, I have my little write-up on character creation. And I did steal a little bit from a previous project called Poktal, which is a really bastardized way of saying mailman in Russian. I think it's like Ponaktal? I don't speak Russian. I'm an American. I'm a burger. But the core concept is that you are a traveler part of Inchling society. You're necessary, but you're also completely fucking insane. And no one really wants to deal with you because you are, you guessed it, a crazy person who leaves the city walls to go on adventures. You lunatic. And we have our basic attributes. Some of these are returning, such as body, bravado. Scholar is your usual returner. And willpower is technically nerves from Where the Light Fades Softly, but I ended up just renaming it to willpower because I felt that worked a little bit better. And now we have intuition. Let me see. This was one of the attributes I was actually having quite a bit of problems with, because I wanted to get across the you're not smart with intuition, you're just wise. So it's kind of the intelligence versus wisdom argument. Like, yeah, you can tell the berries aren't good to eat, not because you have a book, is because you know that someone ate those berries before and they died. Or you know which place to travel because you traveled these roads a lot. It's kind of that more rustic knowledge. I think that would be the correct way of putting it. So hopefully that gets across my idea. It's not a flawless, but okay. Local lore. Survivalist skills. There we go. Also, I have no idea what kind of music to select for this, unfortunately, so I've been going with rustic music with guitars and nice things, and I don't know. Usually I have like a decent idea of how I want to do the music, but this one I have no idea, because it's really hard to kind of pitch tiny people music. Right, that doesn't work. Now let's see, attributes. Attributes form the. I should open up the notepad document like I usually do. Attributes form the core facets, the core idea of the character skill set and abilities. All attributes start at 3 and determine how many d6s are rolled for a check using that attribute. A character at creation. A character creation is able to distribute 3 additional attribute points among their attributes to start. I've actually been debating with myself how I want to do the next part, because as I kind of discussed in the first bit of this game, I want a kind of more of a background, kind of a life path system. You see in things like Cyberpunk or Rogue Trader has a really fun one. You know, just kind of give you get in the mind of the character a little bit more. Of being a very tiny person who does very tiny person things. Oh God, people are pinging me. Why are you doing the things that you are? Oh. Oh God, people are pinging me. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Vagrant, Dad, why do you do this to me? People are gonna expect things from me now. But thank you, Vagrant, as always. But let's see. Attributes from the core idea: condition, physical condition, fitness, magnetic personality, tuition. Okay, perfect. So the beautiful thing is, if we go off our basic math, so we're going to start with 3 and everything. So we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 attribute points to begin, and then if we add our 3, we have a base of 18 attribute points distributed among 5 attributes. So that means we have an average of about 3 among everything, so actually it'd be like 3.2 or 3.3. So the highest possible attribute you can get is a 6. Well, the lowest is a 3. Now, this may seem really low, but when you take into account how dice work, having 6 is actually is really valuable, because you're guaranteed to get doubles. Unless you actually, no, you're not guaranteed to get doubles at that point, as you can roll a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but the likelihood of that occurring is very low. But the main point, you could argue, is having a lower amount of die. I want people to feel weak in this game. That's kind of the point, arguably, because you are a tiny person who does tiny people things and will die. You know, dying and the inevitable collapse of your health is an inevitability, unfortunately, in this game. And I want it to be a part. Hello, everybody who is joining. Welcome to Notepad talks to himself for over an hour and probably drinks cheap bourbon he bought the other day. As of right now, I'm just drinking crappy 7-Eleven coffee. For context, I'm working on a game called Project Inchling, about playing an Inchling, and ranting philosophically about how attribute scores work. So let me actually view if everything's... Okay, everything looks like it roughly should. I know, it's amazing. Wow. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. People are posting things in Discord. So, let's see. So, we've hit this point, and part of me with the life path system, what I'm thinking about is doing the basic childhood, teenage years, teenager, and then adulthood. Now, there's 2 ways of doing this. We can either do a select method, so you can pretty much go from childhood, you choose what you did as teenage, and then you choose what you did as adulthood, and make them... I would need a plentiful amount of them, but I know how I would do it. You'd have to distribute the attributes in a way. Childhood, you'd get 1. Probably teenage years, you'd get 2. Then as adult, you get -1 and a 2. That'd be what I would probably do. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. Well, actually, let's go on an investigation. Life path system. Tabletop RPG. Welcome to How You Design Games Properly, kids. Otherwise known as Look at What Other People Did First. Including going on the dreaded Reddit. Oh, Jesus, I'm getting a call. Give me 1 second, folks. Apologies. Hi, I'm back. I'm not dead, I swear, please. So, let's take a look at some life path systems. Cyberpunk 2020, Conan D also has a life path. Conan 2D20. Perfect, perfect. This is what we like to see. Well, this is Motifus. I think that's how you pronounce it. Their Conan 2D20 game. Now, 2D20 is kind of their calling card at this point, I believe. It's a system that works actually fairly well. Not perfect, not flawless, but it's a fairly solid one. It does what it's supposed to do, so... Let's go. We want just normal rules, roll homeland. Alright, alright. So, Burning Wheel has another one. Maelstrom Domesday. Never heard of this game. If anyone would like to see a what? PBF? I'll play by. Alright. Alright. So, we're going to have to go down the really unfun route of just brute forcing this. This is, and for context, these are all the games that I've written. None of them are good. But don't worry, that's what we do best. 5-minute RPGs. I just lost everything yet. And that's a tried and true friend of the stream, otherwise known as my squeaky ass chair. It's been a while since Squeaky Chair has made his appearance of loudly deafening everyone in a 15-mile radius. So roughly we're going to have our childhood, our teenage years, and finally our adulthood. So let's do 555, so that would be 5 times 5, 25, 25, so that would be 100, technically 125 combinations, because you could select 5 childhoods, and one of the 5 teenagers, and then one of the 5, yeah, I believe that's how the math works in my head, at least. It could be completely wrong. So, we need 5 childhoods. What's some solid childhood memories we can all indulge in and have fun with? Childhood memories. We vibing in the music tonight. I was raised in the village walls. Actually, let's start on the birth. I was born in the village walls, safe and sound. I was born on the road, hunting for a new home. I was born in the river, fleeing from desperate circumstances. I was born to unknown parents, abandoned in a village. I was born in the wild, little to no contact with others of my kind. Do we want to add a skill system? That's the question here. Do we want to add a skill system in? On one hand, I want to add a skill system in just to make things easier for me going down the road. The other half of me says I don't want to add a skill system in because that would be somewhat redundant. I don't think a skill system's needed. No, I don't think a skill system is going to be needed because characters like this aren't really supposed to last very long, so you don't want to have too many character variables. If I can actually speak properly. So you don't want too many variables going through to making a new character difficult. Just choose your life path. Simple as. Plus bravado, plus... Actually, we're just going to add 1 plus bravado, born on the road. Actually, scholar. Intuition, actually no willpower. Bod plus int. So that'll immediately put you up to that'll put you up to 19 attributes. I'm gonna keep that a note. We're currently at 19 attributes. Childhood. I was raised to be a good leader of my village, whether they liked it or not. I was raised to be a farmer, living off the land like my forefathers. I was raised to be a hunter, be a scavenger, delving deeper into the wild with my guardians. I was raised to be a craftsman. Learning a trade to assist the village. I was raised to be a scholar, recording our histories and our tragedies. Plus BRV, plus bod, plus int, plus scholar. Technically, only one left would be intuition. I know it's intuition, bravado, willpower. What would be a good willpower one? I was raised. How willpower works for craftsmen. The idea being that if you're a craftsman, pretty much you have the willpower to keep just going and creating things. You're not exactly a hard person to break. Because you are a very dull person, because you make shoes for a living. Your job is to make people's shoes. If you don't make people's shoes, you're going to go hungry and then you're going to die. And let's move on to teenager. I was a brutish youth. I got into fights often. I was a bookish sort, bookish guy. I was a bookish, bookish sort. I kept to myself. Kept to myself and read. I was an adventurous child, risking life and limb for the next adventure. So brutish youth is going to get plus bod. But you're going to get 9 as scholar. Bookish sort, you're going to get plus scholar, but you're also going to get minus intuition. You're going to get plus int, but you're also going to get minus bravado. Remember, Inchlings do not like people who are adventurous, because adventurous people usually lead to bad things coming. Let me see. Birth, childhood, teenage. Young adult. I was adventurous child. I was an adventurous one. For the next high, I was a bard of our people, drinking merrily and not worrying about tomorrow. Plus bravado, minus will. Now I need one for willpower. I was an apprentice. I learned much from other from the local Poketall. They taught me the horrors of the outside world. And we'll change you to... Actually, if we do int, change you to will. I was an adventurous one. Getting injured, maimed for the sake of exploration. We're going to give plus will, minus bod. One, two, three, four, five, and finally our adult years. I am a Poketall because I broke the law. I'm a Poketall because I chose this life. I am a Poketall because I have nothing else. I am Poketall because I despise people. I am a Poketall because I have... let's see, actually, so I am a Poketall because I am in exile. I have to feed myself. I am an eggs. Yep. From another village. Because I broke the law. And let's see, so 19, that'll boost you up to 20. That'll keep you at 20. And I'm going to keep you at 20. Actually, no. Will. In Whale Scholar. Willpower, bot, intuition, bravado. Let's put bravado right there, BRV. There we go. Perfect. Ta-da! So you're going to have 21 attributes distributed among 5, so you're going to have an average of about 4 in everything. So if you have your average of 4, you're good. You're Gouda. You're Gouda. Oh god. Let me snap my back into place because I am a broken individual who does broken things for broken reasons. And we're going to put in the life path. And Inchling's life determines much about them. From their perspective on things to their own desires. When creating the character, the Inchling determines their birth, childhood, young adult and adult years to where they are now. A Poketall, surviving the harsh world. And yet again, Google Docs likes to fight me because Google Docs hates everything. Things, Poketall, oh god. Backspace. So if you really min-max yourself, and I do mean a min-max, you can have a maximum So let's go back up here. So you have a base of 3 at 3 additional. So you have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can have a maximum of 10 in a single attribute. And mind you, if you have a maximum of 10 in a single attribute, that literally means you have 3 in everything else. That means you're pretty awful at literally everything else you do in your life. And your lowest one is actually going to have a 2 because you're going to take a negative 1 for your teenage years. I could probably go deeper into this, but I don't feel like it's not necessary. I think keeping it at 21 will be a pretty solid number to keep it at, because advancement's going to be a little bit different than usual. And the goal is you're not actually going to keep characters for that terribly long, because again, it's hostile out there. It's a dangerous world where you're not exactly a apex predator. Exactly. You are a random schmuck who is going to die. Sign. Every time there is a plus attribute, increase the attribute score by 1. If there is a minus attribute, decrease it by 1. And let me just check, make sure everything looks right here. This looks beautiful. I'm going to reference one of my other projects just to make sure everything is going the way I want it to. I'll use Project Tactics as an example. Alright, perfect. So now I just need to do health and morale. Health. Well-being in the perilous world. Being an Inchling is tough. The world is not. There's little for your survivability. An Inchling. Life is precious, but incredibly fleeting. As many things can and will kill them. A character's well-being is measured in 4 values: health, illness, hunger, and depression. Should I change health to wounds? Half of me wants to change it to wounds, the other half of me doesn't. God, let me think. Do I want to? Well, my core idea here is that effectively a character has 4 health bars they need to manage and kind of keep track of. That's where the main crux of the game comes in, is keeping your health bars high and making sure you don't bleed to death for health, you know, catch pneumonia and die with illness, just go hungry and starve to death with hunger, or just get so literally so depressed you are an unfunctional being and just go into a catatonic state until something eats you. And how do I want to do this? Wounds, blood, you know what, blood. I think blood works. Blood represents the character's physical health and any injuries they may suffer. A character with low blood. Character who gains too much blood. Blood is heavily injured and cannot perform their duties very well due to injuries. to heal blood. A character will need medicine, bandages, and other healing tonics to make the pain go away. Illness ends the character's well-being, and whether or not they are sick. They are sick. A character who gains too much illness is bedridden and unable to be of any use to the traveling party. To health blood, I just realized I timed because I'm an idiot. To heal illness, character will need medicine, sleep, and possibly a surgery, and possibly a medical procedure to cure them. Hunger. Hunger represents the character's need for food, water. A character who gains too much hunger is starving. And the hunger pangs prevents them from working efficiently. To heal hunger, a character will need to eat filling foods, drink heartily, eat filling foods and drink heartily. Depression. Depression represents the character's mental health and will to live. A character who gains too much depression is a miserable creature who is unable or unwilling to continue their adventure in a fit of hopelessness. To heal depression, good rest, being in a village, eating good food, and generally keeping morale high will gradually reduce depression. Very simplified view of depression, however, this is literally just a game, so. Let's see. Can and will kill them. A character's being these values will gradually tick up one, or may increase rapidly due to events or situations the characters find themselves in at interval. Rapidly, efficiently, Blood and thunder. Rock and stone. Picture there, and these values are, oh goodness, people are joining the Discord. Oh goodness, so many people joining the Discord these days. Shame that GDG is dying a horrific death, but hey, what do I know? Game design in general is a sad, miserable creature at this point, so putting it down may be the best case scenario. Are measured out of 20. Every 5 points. Every 5 points in one of these reduces the number of dice rolled by 1 for all checks. For example, having 12 hunger and 8 depression means that the character will be rolling 3 less die on all of their checks. Whenever a character reaches 20 in one of the values, they are taken out of play, whether due to passing away from illness, injury, hunger, or simply depression, or simply misery. What's the sticky stuff on me? Why do I have the song going through my fucking head? They cannot play others passing away. Okay, now we get to combat and other deadly encounters. Actually, I should put deadly encounters, combat, journeys. Actually, combat, traveling, and dealing with the clan. Combat, traveling, and big ones. Pretty much I'm going to split these up into 3 key things. Combat section is obviously going to cover combat. Traveling is going to be covering traveling. The big one section is going to be covering something a little bit more unique, because the idea is that Inchling versus Inchling is normal combat. Inchling versus Ant is normal combat. Inchling versus Praying Mantis is decidedly lethal combat, but still combat. Inchling versus Foot, not combat. It's big one. Big one hurt you. Big one kill you. Big one put you in jar and then leave you to suffocate, because he does not care. that's kind of the core idea, is that encounters with things bigger than you are fundamentally more and more difficult to deal with. Because something around your size is something you can worry about. I have a pin, I have a pin sword and a button shield. I can fight this man. I can fight that creature ahead of me. And I'm going to, because I have to. Let me just yeet my... Oh, goodness. Oh, God. There we go. Just yeeted my pair of clippers here. Because I'm one of those people who likes just to have something in their hand just to mess around with. I'm debating on getting one of those like little fidget cubes. In school, I was a kid in school who doodled in his notebooks. I still have a lot of my notebooks where I have all my doodles in. They got pretty intricate near the end there, but I don't think Project Inchling is going to be a massive game by any stretch of the imagination. So combat's probably going to be the hardest part. Once combat wraps itself up nicely, it's probably I'm going to have to move on to traveling. It's going to be combat and traveling are going to be the two big ones. Traveling is probably going to get a lot of stuff in it by just virtue of that being kind of the core concept of the game is it's traveling. But I already have the traveling mechanics done. I'm stealing those from Where the Light Fades Softly, so I don't have to really worry about that as much as I do with combat. Because combat, I'm effectively going to have to write completely wholesale just because the dice system's a little different. And I know how to do it. It's going to be a lot of opposed checks, and if I do it's going to be me versus you in an opposed check. If I succeed, I do damage to you. If you succeed, you do damage to me. Not exactly a complex system, but initiative is going to be a little bit weird on that because, like, why would I want to attack? So I may just do a kind of almost like a, dare I say, action point system? Just kind of the idea of, or even like a tick system might be the best case scenario for that. We've been streaming for about an hour now, so I'm just going to wax philosophically about what the plans are going forward. Traveling is going to be done by zone, kind of moving from point A to point B to point C, and with morale and such being a part of it, as always. Oh, wait, that reminds me, I have to add in a little feature I was thinking of. Where are you? I'm going to put you right down here. Key roll. Betting life. Life, limb, and safety. Character, for any roll of their choice, may opt to make it a key roll. Key roll. Key roll will succeed no matter what. The character will be able to clear their objective and creates the opportunity necessary. However, the character makes up the difference in their role with their health. For example, a character opts to create a key roll for a target number 15 check and rolls a 5. Actually, we'll make it easy. We'll say we rolls a 4. Rolls a 4. The character will then have to distribute 11 points of damage to any of their current to any of their damage values. Footnote discussed on page 10. Actually, page 11, wasn't it? Yep. On page 11. This would kill the character. The character will die. The game... Yeah. Normal text, key rolls, betting life limit. We want heading 2. Hello, phone. How are you? Let's go on to page 11. Oof. I should actually create a footnote. Footnote, no dice. No dice to roll. A character may find themselves in a situation where they are unable to roll any dice for a check. If this is the case, they can either decide to immediately fail the check, or they can choose to make it key roll. Key roll and take damage. Take damage as appropriate. This also applies for characters who cannot physically hit a certain TN. TN reaching a target number 13 with 2d6. They can instead take the key roll damage instead. Not footnote, side note. Side note. Because in this game, I want people to hurt themselves. I want you to feel in pain. I want you to feel powerless, but I don't want you to be able to feel helpless. Helpless versus... there's a key difference between being helpless and being powerless. Helpless is you are unable to do anything. You are completely at the mercy of whatever is coming up to you. Powerless means you can't influence the current state of affairs. You're not helpless, though. You just can't really do anything about it, but you can sure as hell try. That's what I want to get across, is that you are powerless in the face of some things, but you can still give it your all and hurt yourself for it. I want to hand you the whip and say, okay, what do you want to hit yourself on the left or do you want to hit yourself on the right? The game master should never be the one, pistol, hitting you with the whip. It should always be you, the player, deciding, I really need to succeed at this. I'm going to make it a key roll. I rolled a 2 or I rolled a 1. And then you take a lot of damage, or they say, I can't risk this. I have to fail. I can't risk any more health. I gotta fail, and I'll let the game master kind of take it in his reins of what happens next. So it's always always a back and forth, a power play between the two, because ultimately speaking, Project Inchling is not about living a full and happy life. It's about a struggle to survive every day, and a veteran character by the end of Inchling is one who's survived a little bit of everything and can kind of tell already, when things are going badly. They're the ones who have, barely recovered from pneumonia. They're the ones who have had, a gushing wound that have only been barely patched up. They are the ones who were desperately gnawing on the, raw animal meat because they were that hungry. They're those ones. The desperate few who have done things unspeakable in the name of survival. And that's one of the things I kind of want to get across in the adventure is a travel from point A to point B is going to be your main way of leveling up. Not combat, not big combat encounters, not big skill checks or anything like that. No, it's the journey. It's you journeying from point A to point B. Every journey you complete is effectively you leveling up. You going through experiences, and you becoming better for it. But the problem associated with it is that you have to kind of manage a bunch of things. It's who's going to be the leader of who's going to be the one guiding us, who's going to be the one managing our supplies, who's going to be the one reading the map, who's going to be the one making sure we don't get ambushed at night, who's actually, what's the plan if we get caught in bad weather, pretty much is going to be a constant source of we need to get all these things to where they need to be. How do we do it and why? I do plan on having kind of a dare I say, kind of a random mission generator of go to town 1, go to town 2, deliver X, Y, or Z. And I would like to put in just a smidge, mind you, just a smidge, just a little pinch of Death Stranding in there with the kind of the overcome the challenge set before you with what you have available, but your challenge in front of you is we have to deliver 15 bags of mail across horrifying landscapes because everything wants to kill us out there, but we're the only ones stupid enough to do it. So, okay, how do we do this? Or we need to, cattle wrangle, ant wrangle all of these various creatures all the way to this other village with only losing half the herd. How do we do it? Or, hey, we need to quickly rush over to this village to warn them that there's a problem coming. How do we get there in a short enough time where our warning means something? Or do we risk it all for the chance of being able to warn them? Or do we take our time and make sure that we're in fighting condition to get out of there when it does hit? So that's kind of your thing. It's the adventure you go on, the people you meet, the characters that kind of go around. And I do have a intention of adding a kind of the 4 ideas, quote unquote, of play. With my couple ideas being something more akin to, like, this is a borrower's campaign, like a straight up borrower's campaign of you live in this house and you're working together, trying to get goods, trying to get resources, and taking everything and running with it. Trying not to get spotted and delivering goods, yada, yada, yada. Second one is kind of more of the village setup where you're constantly trying to go back and forth between the various villages to level up your village in particular. And again, you're social pariahs, you're Poktal, you're individuals that are kind of outside societal norms. So what happens if Village A and Village B get into a fight with each other and they hate each other suddenly? Well, you can't be really trading with them, and so you're kind of stuck in the middle of this war zone. Like people aren't getting along, or what happens if Village C as you're on your way there gets completely wiped out by a storm? Oh God, what do you do now? You're in the middle of God knows where with no supplies. Oh no. The third way I plan on doing it. This is kind of the fun. This is kind of the dare I say, a little bit tertiary way of doing things, a little bit odd, is that effectively you are a adventurer's pocket pals, and they're going through this dungeon as your stereotypical fantasy adventure person, and they are kind of sending you all out to scout ahead, look around, because you can't fight a goblin as an Inchling. He can, though. Your adventure pal can. And you're kind of reliant on them doing well in the dungeon. So he gets paid, so you get good food, so you don't die. On the other hand, you want to make sure that he treats you right, and that you're working together with him. It's a symbiotic relationship, not parasitic. So you're kind of working with them and they're kind of working with you, and you may get into situations where it's like, all right guys, good news, bad news, you're now going to be in a chicken fight for us all. Go kill his little people that he is fielding against you, and because if you don't, I'm going to lose, I lose all our money, and one of you will be dead probably. So it's just like, crap. And that's kind of a little bit more grim way of looking at it, but it's a bit more adventurous, dare I say. So those are my ideas going forward. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all had fun. No one said anything, but that's pretty typical for these kind of quieter streams. I do, even though I was talking a lot this stream. But I will be uploading this to YouTube probably within the next week, hopefully. You should be able to click on all my links to go to all the various places that need to go to various places. And leave me a follow in case you enjoyed it, of me talking to myself for a time. If you hate everything about me, feel free to call me a faggot in chat. I don't care. Alright. Well, thank you all. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Godspeed and good luck.